How's it going, everyone? It's your girl, Rocket Gal. Welcome to a discussion of the Fire Emblem Heroes story. You know, some of the greatest stories up there with Shakespeare, some of the greatest narrative plot points of all time. We're going to discuss that now that Book 8 is finished, and joining me are my lovely fellow FateTubers, Enemy and Satachi.
Okay, people, what is good? It's Enemy here, and along with Rocket Gal Satachi, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite aspect, the story. I know everyone just loves the story. Isn't that right, guys? Everyone just loves the story.
It's the best.
Yeah, I totally love reading, yeah.
The reading.
Yeah, that was my best subject in primary school. That's why I went into math field as a grown-up. But yeah, the story, jokes aside, it's a mixed bag, but it's still there, and it's fun to discuss it, meme about it, and shit on it, and that is what we're going to do. Now that Book 8 is done, and we are awaiting Book 9, now is a perfect time to kind of look back and phase past and see how far we've come, because, boy, has this game been out for a long time, and we've come a long way. Am I right, boys?
Oh yeah, it's been out for
pretty much
so long. And actually, this is something we'll talk about later. I also think the writers have gotten better at writing too. So it's also interesting to see how they evolve their writing style.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get on to Book 1, is there anything else we want to, say, or should we just get on with it?
I'm ready if you guys are.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
let's
let's go. Yeah,
Let's
all right.
do
Book
it.
1.
Yeah.
Book 1, the beginning of Faye. This was, it was interesting. We were introduced to basically everything. We were plopped into a whole new setting. There was Asker and Embla, basically the two, factions that we come to know and love. There's the summoner that's supposed to be you, and you have the Braidablik, which is like the summoning gun thing. It had some interesting mysteries, like the masked individual, like, oh, who is that? Oh, I don't know. Which has become a bit of a staple.
Mystery.
Yeah. In Fire Emblem with Martha, Lucina. There's the Flame Emperor and stuff like that. So they got to bring back that. And also with Conrad and Echo Shadow Valentia. So at this point, this is a bit of a staple now. And the whole plot is that Asker opens the gates to different worlds while Embla is able to close them. And oh no, they don't like each other for some reason. And now we need to go through each of the worlds and free the heroes from their contracts with Veronica. So I will say the story got a little repetitive. You literally just go through each of the worlds, and then you just beat the hell out of the people, and then they'd be like, oh, I've seen the error of my ways. Thank you for freeing me from Veronica's contracts. I wish you the best of luck in your next adventures or whatever. And it's like, okay, this is getting a little bit old after my 5th world.
That is really funny, yeah.
Yeah,
in the end, I think they just stopped, right? And there's a reason. Like, they probably got tired of it.
Exactly, yeah. It was. I think this is the book where it was the most important, or it was like the actual heroes on the maps were actually the most important. Like, oh my god, did you see we're fighting Marth, the Hero King? Whoa! Yeah. Whereas nowadays it's like, oh yeah, there's just some dude there. I don't know why he's here.
Yeah, like I'm Violent after like some random character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So, it was fun to see some of the references. Like, oh hi, I am Xander, the Crown Prince of Nor. Did you know I have 3 siblings that are also fighting with me on this map? Like okay, well, this is kind of cool if you're new to the franchise, but after a while with and I am Elliewood, and these are my retainers, we're gonna fight you. I'm like, holy shit, this is getting too repetitive.
Yeah. I will also say I did not like the whole Xander and Veronica thing. I thought that was
Oh, really?
I personally didn't like. I felt like it wasn't like.
It felt really random.
It felt super random. It didn't even fit well with, in my opinion, Xander's character that well. It was like he just kind of did it just to do it. That's literally how it felt like.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Xander's cool, and he's part of Nor, and Nor is quote unquote the big bad. Let's have Xander with Veronica protecting her at all times, or whatever. I'm
Interesting.
like,
okay, hold on. I can see why it's so like out of character, like out of written. I actually liked it, not gonna lie. As a newbie, when I first started playing, I was like, oh, I totally recognize Xander. And so I was like, oh, wow, like, I don't recognize the OC, which is Veronica, obviously. I think as a complete new player, I liked having that familiarity, and it also probably eased me into becoming more favorable or open to all of these other OCs that Fade has. But objectively, it's definitely poor writing. Like, you're right. Like, he's written out of character. I think they could have done it better or had some better, like, contrivance to explain why he's working with her.
Oh, I think it,
Yeah.
like, when I was reading it, I think it was like, oh, Veronica reminds me of my other sibling who was locked
Yeah.
away in
Yeah.
a fortress.
yeah,
like,
Corin.
really?
Yeah, I was like, how does
I'm like,
Veronica
how
remind
does
you?
that remind you of Veronica? I'm like, oh, because they have no
Yeah.
friends. I'm like, oh, Corin has no
So
friends,
dis.
and Veronica has no friends. I'm like, damn, that's
Wow, that's
yeah,
crazy.
bummer, man. I don't know. It's a little contrived, but I guess they just really wanted. There must be a Xander dev out there. Like, let's keep Xander in the story. He's cool.
Yeah, there must be.
And then they made legendary. Anyways,
Yeah, that was
exactly.
brutal. And pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, for what it was, it was fine. Especially since, you know, let's be honest, like a gacha game for Fire Emblem, like they only know that their fan base, for as much as they know, only likes the characters in Smash Bros. You know, so
Yeah, exactly.
they you know, so they were definitely they were definitely you know, taking risks. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah, that there was many
So,
risks. Some of them
I-
panned out. Some of them maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I will say that the story felt kind of goofy as I was rereading the script. There were like the emblems were like definitely way more like exaggerate evil, like ha ha ha, I'm gonna destroy this village, and Asker
Yeah.
people were like these despicable emblems. I'm like, holy shit, what am I watching, a Saturday morning cartoon? Like, what the hell?
But I feel like that's also pretty par for the course of mainline FE, which is like also a different
Yeah,
conversation of its own,
Yeah.
right? But
Exactly,
for
yeah.
better for worse, I don't think it's actually that out of pocket. Like it's kind of on
Yeah.
the dot in that sense.
I guess that's true, yeah. That's true, but I guess reading it now compared to like
Yeah,
the
it's
story that
weird,
we have
right?
nowadays, I'm like, holy shit, it was so black and white back then. It was
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a lot more nuanced. Right?
exactly. Slightly, yeah, slightly. It's still, you know, it's Faye's story, so.
It's still Faye, but like, yeah.
Yeah. What else do I have in my notes? Oh, back in the day, the paralogs actually had like story relevance because they released like normal summon pool heroes through paralogs. So sometimes it'd be like, oh, Ephraim and Erica, they're under the contracts of Veronica and stuff. So there was a little bit of story relevance there. So that was kind of interesting. Nowadays, very much not so. It's all just like, hey, do you like dressing up as a bunny? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ninja
Ninja time, like
Oh,
yeah, like
yeah,
it's
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So weird. And then we also had xenologues back then, which were like even more side stories. And I saw that this was where Veronica alluded to hearing Embla's voice, which eventually did pay off. But that was kind of cool how they like eventually, you know.
Tied that thread.
Yeah, exactly. And then also like back in the day, Tempest Trials was also part of the story, kind of, where it was like,
Oh yeah.
what's going on? Oh, Loki, what are you doing? And I was like, this is interesting. This is kind of quirky. So it felt like they at least tried more in year one. I felt like they were tying a lot of things together with paralogs, xenologues.
Yeah.
The Tempest Trials story even had some relevance. Sometimes it felt very repetitive. but it was kind of cool to like, oh, what happened to Zacharias? Who is this Bruno character? What's going on here? Oh, you killed Zacharias, but you're actually Zacharias? What's going on?
No way.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's probably kind of average, maybe slightly below average. I definitely did not have that much fun rereading this story, but what about you guys?
Interesting. Objectively, I think you're right.
That's where I'd put it.
In practice, it's probably not done very well. But I actually had an incredibly high opinion of book 1. And I'll say it's because I think for the gargantuan task of somehow trying to make a plot, putting together all of these different Fire Emblem-like universes, I think they actually did a pretty good job. I think it's very hard to write that type of story. And when I think about Faye, I also think about another example, Fire Emblem Warriors, right? Like the first one.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Something I love, not only about the Asker trio, but most of the Faye OCs, they really do feel like they're Fire Emblem characters. Well, I mean, they stopped feeling like Fire Emblem characters after probably like book 4. But at least for this book 1 part. When they're also designed by like Ozaki, right?
Right, yeah.
So
well, some of them.
For book 1, right? Mm-hmm. When I see them, to me, it's like, oh yeah, like even though it's a spin-off, it does feel like they're Fire Emblem lords, they're Fire Emblem characters. I never got that feeling from the blonde people from, FE Warriors, right? Like those OCs, literally nobody. I don't even know their. Does anyone know their name? Honestly, if you know their name right now, comment
it. And Rowan, I think.
Why do you know that? That is crazy.
I don't know why.
That is crazy. But
I'm such a fucking nerd. I don't know.
That is great. Like the point. Okay, the fact that you remember that is insane. But the overall point I'm trying to make is, I think they had a humongous hurdle to climb, and considering all that, and considering how much worse I think FE Warriors had it or executed it, I actually think book 1 was like a pretty good attempt, and they had a lot of good ideas. The execution was very troubling, but I liked the idea. They had the mystery. Like obviously this isn't, Harry Potter 2, but it's like a little bit of something. And considering what we get afterwards, I thought it's a pretty solid start. It's not offensively bad, and I actually liked it a lot. So I would put it subjectively, on my subjective opinion, I would probably actually put it like top end of B, but because of how poorly written, I can see why you guys would put it in C.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I think I'll keep in C for now. Obviously, this is subject to change, but
yeah.
But yeah, I think we've finished with book 1. It's a little clunky, but I guess I agree with Enemy in a little bit. It was a gargantuan task to try to weave in all these stories together, and it's not perfect by any means, but it works. It's fine. I will say though that book 1 was the reason why I stopped reading the story for the longest time, and the story chapters were just a piggy bank for me.
Yeah, they're pretty bad in practice. Yeah.
Yeah, and this did not get better with book 2 for me personally, because when I first started playing, I never read a single book 2 story ever, so I did not know. So the first time I ever knew about the book 2 story was quite literally researching for this video. But in terms of book 2, this is the whole Niffle and Muspel conflict. Adding 2 new nations is pretty interesting. Obviously, Niffle's on our side. Muspel was allied with Emblem and Veronica. They introduced, Gunthra was actually introduced in book 1 as part of like the whole dream thing, and like, hey, Summoner, hi, we'll meet each other again one day, kind of thing. Which was kind of cute. It was it's a nice little transition, I suppose.
Yeah.
They added some interesting new characters, and the main big baddie was Surtur, who was all like invincible, like all kind of Ganondorf-esque, like I'm here to kill everyone kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And he seemed kind of cool. He felt formidable. Like every time he was on screen, I felt like his presence. He had a presence.
Yeah, because they had like that sacred seal where like they would just take no damage.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that
that
was cool. That was cool. I'll give him that. Yeah.
What else?
I don't like his motivation is just gonna be so real. Burn everything into fire.
Yeah, like he was basically like
Fire
evil
in
morning
the-
cartoon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly.
arson. Yeah.
It was, his character is pretty boring. Like, yeah, it's not well written
Yeah.
or interesting. He's still kind of intimidating, but yeah, that part really was not very engaging. What else? Oh yeah, this book still had the contracts between Veronica and the heroes, but it felt like this was very much less of the focus. You could kind of tell this was where this was petering out a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was still a little bit there. What else? What else do I have here? So yeah, we also have Gunthra, we have Hreed and Ilger on the Nifl side of things. You guys have anything to say about these characters?
You just laughed, like I just see you laughing when you have to say Yilker.
I'm not implying anything.
Well, I guess I'll say it for you then. I did not care about Yilger whatsoever. I love Gunthra, and I super duper. I'm gonna be super biased with this book because Fjorm exists. Like she's a top 3 OC for me.
Yeah, Fjorm is awesome.
I love Fjorm. She's amazing. Like actually amazing. I just love her. She's so sweet and just she's precious. Just look at her. Just look at her. How can you hate that?
How can you hate that? That
That's
ice
true.
princess.
Yeah. And I'm biased
honestly-
because I love Snow and whatnot. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm very biased. But hey, this is our tier list.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's actually
It needs bias, you know.
Yeah.
I like Fjorm a lot. I love Fjorm. They can keep Fjorm. I think book 2 suffers from, like, not to over spoil it, but I think book 8 also suffers from a similar problem where they have a lot of characters, but I feel like they could have consolidated a little bit. Like, I don't really know why they had both Hreed and Yilger. Like, I'm not saying one character could have served both purposes, but instead of caring about one character like 100%, I feel like I care about Hreed maybe like 50%, and I also don't, honestly, I don't even know how to spell Yilger at this point. Like, yeah, I don't really just do not care about Yilger. And which is interesting. Like, was Yilger brought in for characterization for Hellbindy, right? So, but then I'm
Yeah,
like,
kind of. Yeah, because
Ugh,
Hellbindy
I
was
don't
like
like him at
all
all.
like, oh, I'm big and rough and I kill, but little girl, I have a soft spot because I have a little sister kind of thing.
yeah, but then my question is like, why is Hellbindy even there? Like, what purpose did he drive that Surtur didn't? Because isn't Surtur also like a big baddie?
Right. I think Hellbindy was just another. Yeah, he was just like another general, I guess.
And then same thing with the 2 sword sisters. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Lake Yarn and Levitane.
yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
get
like
crap
aside
for
from the
that.
fact that they have a sister dynamic, I'm also not really sure why they needed to. Like, I guess it's to show that. What was their dynamic? Like, someone was being mean to another one. Like I kind of forget that
I
part.
forgot,
Wait.
but I did like Fjorm and Lake Yarn's dynamic.
Dynamic.
Yeah, they were like,
Yeah.
if we weren't on opposite sides, I think we could have been
Oh no,
pretty
that
good
part
friends.
is cool. But
Yeah.
then why did they keep the other
Like
sister?
some Naruto and Sasuke shit there.
Oh yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, they had a lot of characters. I think they could have just consolidated some of them, or just focused on making the ones they already had stronger, as opposed
Yeah.
to just
That's
having
true.
a lot of.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it too. Although there was, the story felt mostly kind of boring, but there was one part that I kind of liked, which was the whole, there was this part where they felt like there was a traitor amidst them because they were like, how did the Muspel know where we were? There must be a spy. And then it was like, oh, it was Ilger, but she's not Ilger, she was actually
It's
Loki,
Loki, right?
and Ilger was a prisoner this whole time, about to be sacrificed for the right of flames and
Yeah.
Blibbity Blue. That was kind of cool, but that was like the only part of the story I was like, oh wow, that was kind of neat. But like, yeah, the rest of it, I'm still like a little low on book 2 story. What else do I have here? Fjorm did the Rite of Frost or whatever.
Oh, yeah. That
and-
she's gonna die.
Oh, right.
yeah, I'm like, oh shit. And that's why she was coughing the whole time. I'm like, Jesus, girl, you live in the world of ice. How could you be coughing? It's like, oh wait, she's dying. That sucks. So that was at least it was like it didn't just come out of nowhere, and it kind of makes sense because with the Rite of Flame or whatever, there was clearly someone was gonna die there. So it's like, oh, this must be the same case with the Frost one, but it's just not super like clear yet, but it's still like. Did she really need to die? Like, it didn't feel consequential. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna die one day, but not today. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
She's not dying 7 years later, so yeah, I don't think she's gonna die for a
Yeah,
long,
exactly.
long
I
while.
don't know. What else? Oh, something I really did like was after Helbindi let Ilger and I think Veronica leave, he went to face off against Surtur against certain death, and I thought that was a really powerful character moment for him. I thought that was pretty badass. That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
I don't give a shit about Hilbindi, but that was a cool
Yeah, that's the
character
only
moment
props he
there
gets
for
from
sure.
me too.
What else do I think that's about all I have to say about book 2. It's also we cannot forget the fact that Gunthra never really appeared in the story apart from the dream, because as soon as they found her, she was just killed by Surtur,
Yeah.
which was like,
I do
holy
remember
shit,
that.
that is so foul, man. That was rough.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking about this story? I think it's probably a little better than book 1, but I won't say it's exactly still like super compelling. But what do you think? I'm thinking like maybe still in C tier, but like above book 1.
I would honestly put it in F. I think it's the worst
shit.
book by like a
That's
significant margin,
crazy.
which is crazy. But honestly, first of all, book 2 does not have the same like luxury of book 1 that you can say like, okay, they had a big task, like they had to try to bring everyone together. Book 2 had no one to bring together. It's literally its own world, and I just think that it's not that interesting. I love it thematically, but the motivations are just good guy versus bad guy.
Yep, we're back at that.
That it's super, like, it's not that interesting. Honestly, I was gonna mention the plot twist of Loki being Ylgr, because as we see, I think they do love to have some plot twists throughout every book. But all the other books, as we'll talk about later, their plot twists I think are either good to straight up excellent. This one was just like a small blip in the moment, and otherwise it's completely
Yeah, that's true.
like you can expect what to happen, right? And honestly, I'm also going to critique book 2 for what it's not, which I actually think book 2 should have been book 6. Like, book 6 is return to I honestly consider book 6 like a proper version of book 1, or going back to it. I would have loved if they really fleshed out and got their footing from like the who we are, the Askarians or whatever they are, like get that out of the way, and then start adventuring to the like 8 or however many realms and doing all this. It doesn't really matter now that we've eventually got that out of the way in book 6, so I guess it's fine. But I just, man, I'm not that big of a fan of book 2, even though thematically they're awesome.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of agree.
I still think it's better than book 1. Just gonna say that.
I kind of also think so, but book 1 was just so, in my opinion, so boring at times.
Let's put it above. Let's put it above book 1.
Okay, yeah, but again, it has its problems. And yeah, you're right. The whole plot twist of like, oh, Ylgr is actually Loki. It's like, it feels so inconsequential. It felt like IS was like, wait, we need to put a plot twist in here, and it's like intern goes like, I got you, fam. Let's make Ylgr Loki. I'm like, whoa, man, who hired Shakespeare here, man? Oh my gosh, Charles Dickens in the room right now. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. I'm like, no, it's just like, all right, whatever.
And also, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any way for you to really anticipate that it wasn't Ylgr at all, right? Like, I think it just kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. Or at least when I was playing, I didn't think that hard about it. So when I found out it was Loki, I was like, oh, really? Like, okay, like, I guess it is. As opposed to nowadays, or within the past couple of years, you see a lot of people theorize and have to come up with different things with the story. So I think they're getting better at like more room for imagination, or actually sometimes people's imaginations are so good, or the red herrings are so good, that oftentimes theories are better than the story itself. But that's like that's a different point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they should honestly be hiring us to write the story for these books, because goddamn, are these like bad at times. Okay, I think we're done with book 2. Let us. Are we done? Do you guys think we're done with book 2?
I'm pretty happy.
I think we're done.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh,
All
man.
right. Let us move on to book 3. Book 3 is
Oh
all
my
about the realm of the dead
Oh my
versus
god.
Hell, the
No
goddess
bias.
of dead.
No bias, but as a literal goth dude IRL, that's S tier to me.
That
I'm sorry.
honestly, to me,
As
it
a
is also
literal-
S tier. I might
as
not
a
be super
literal-
goth, but I like this edgy shit a lot too. This was a
as-
book that made me actually read the story
Oh wow,
as
the
a-
180.
Yo, for
because I was
real,
like, wait,
though.
this shit is cool. When I first watched that animation of like Lif and Thrasier, I'm like, holy
Oh
God.
shit, what
yeah.
the fuck is that?
Yeah,
I need to get
yeah.
into this shit again.
Yeah,
as a little emo and goth IRL, you know, My Chemical Romance type beat.
Hell yeah.
It's gotta go S rank. It's gotta go S rank. And it's so I'll never forget that Fate channel. I was in high school, and then I think and then it happened while I was doing my bowling team matches, and then I was sitting down. I was like, oh my god, Shorena is fucking dead in the middle of the bowling place. I'm like, oh my god, that was so hype. And then the hype just went all the way through. I just loved it. I loved everything about that book. And then the soundtrack,
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah, the lyrics of the song.
Oh
Oh,
my
my god,
God.
go crazy.
oh my god.
Yeah, the heavy
Yeah.
death metal as well.
Oh
like,
my
we should, Can we
God.
like go back to that?
I would love
Please,
to.
I've been
Yeah.
seeing that like yeah. We
Only
have
need
to, please.
one future. Only need one.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I
yeah,
can't do
like
the voice.
another life and whatever. Like, yeah, I honestly I would put it S plus. I think it's by far the like just an impeccable, not only good in concept but a lot better in execution than both 1 and 2 combined. But like it has all the tropes we love, you know, like alternate takes on characters that we already like, and then you have the idea of like, oh, this is a potential future, so like, you know, fight
Yeah.
the future, like different timeline, whatever. Hell, in my opinion, also comes across with like the Surtur vibe, but just more interesting. Like she also felt very
Agreed.
formidable, like a big threat that you want to fight and take out.
Right,
And
yeah.
it also made another thing that made her so formidable was the fact that she convinced essentially Alphonse, you know, like the future Alphonse, to work with her.
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah.
it just felt like an
Yeah.
impressive display of, I think, Faye character writing, and I would love for them to come back to it. I will say, as much as I love it, like, you know, I love it, S plus tier. What did you think about Air as a character? Because when I thought
Oh.
back to her, I honestly didn't really know what to make of her. Even now, when they recharacterized her with the Ascended alt and then Summer Ymir,
Yeah.
and then like Air there too.
Right.
Honestly, even now, I don't really know what to feel about her. Like she's gloomy, like not like I don't know. What do you guys think?
You want to go first, Itachi?
I'm into that type of stuff, so I really like it a lot. I just don't like.
He likes a guy girlfriend.
I'm into that. So like, yeah. But yeah, I just don't talk about her as much because I just don't like her ults in the game. I'm just gonna be so real with you. I don't like
True.
her.
They need to
minions
give her
that
more
much.
OP one, man.
I like her.
Hmm.
I like her. No, just like design wise, I don't
Oh,
like
really?
that much.
You don't like Ariana
Yeah.
Grande right here?
No, I do. I do.
Yeah.
I do. But like,
That's
you
so
know,
funny.
I don't like her. I like her. Someone with Ymir's cute. I like her Ascendant one for what it is, but you know, I missed when she was goth. Like, what happened? You know, obviously I know what happened, but you know, you know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean.
think
But
you know
yeah,
why.
yeah. You know.
Because like,
So-
correct me if I'm wrong, they were positioning her as a traitor, but then like in the end, she just changed her mind, right? Was that why she was? Because I kind of forget why exactly she came on, aside from the fact that like, you know, they need a new mythic every book.
I think she was supposed to be like their prisoner for a while. And then she just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
tagged
yeah.
along a little bit. Oh, what did my notes say? I didn't really write anything. Actually, to be honest, what I noticed the most about Air was that she was probably the least present of like the main OC that you get per
Heroines, right?
book out of
Mm.
all the other like ones. Like she was just barely there. It was the whole thing was
Yeah.
the Alphonse book. This really was the book of Alphonse,
It was an Alphonse,
which was actually kind of
Yeah.
cool. I
Hype.
like that.
This is when he start. This is the start of when he started becoming like a Chad. by
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
This
I'm
is
gonna
where he started
fight
becoming
and
a
take on
Chad.
death.
And
you
not
know,
only
avenge
that,
my
but like
father.
it made his character better every book onwards too. Because then, as he grows, then you can be like, oh, he's going to be more like Liv. Like, you know, it set the foundation for, I think, a really good characterization for Alphonse, and why he's better than like. I personally think Alphonse is one of the best FE lords. Like, that's such a hot take, but I think he's so goated.
He's
Yeah,
cool.
he's definitely
He's
good.
cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Sorry.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say, I think Air is similar to Ratatoskr. Like when they made Ratatoskr, I kind of wonder if they retread the idea of like having not a traitor per se, but just someone from the quote unquote opposing side, but
Right,
now
yeah.
on your side. And I wish they had done it better in Air's case. Like, I think they really refined it and kind of got a sense of how to write better with Ratatoskr. But I think the only weak point about Book 3 would probably be like whatever Air brought or didn't bring. Otherwise, it's like peak, and definitely best by far. But that's the only bit I would mention.
Gotcha. Yeah. Air is probably the weakest part of it. That being said, it is a great book.
Yeah.
Awesome plot twist of Liv, are you actually Alphonse?
Yeah.
That kind of blew my mind. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was hype.
It also introduced Gustave and Henriette, two new beloved characters, especially Henriette. I think Henriette's
Yeah.
pretty popular.
Yeah.
Gustave.
I like Gustave a lot.
Gustave
Even though
is
he's
nice.
not that popular.
He's pretty cool. Although when I remember while rereading the story, I'm like, he's kind of a dick. He would cut off straight. I'm like,
Actually,
I'm
yeah.
talking to the sun right now. I'm like, holy fuck. All right, calm down. Serena's just trying to be nice, man. But I guess it was like, oh, he's got to be, the stern, father,
Yeah.
distant but still caring kind of thing. I get it, but it's still like, come on, Serena though, like you don't cut off Serena.
Yeah.
She was just trying to help.
Yeah. If Sharina says jump, like you say how high. Like you don't do that to Sharina.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like Gustav more for what purpose he serves rather than Gustav himself, because I think when we get to the point where Alphonse, like spoilers I guess, but like he obviously does the thing with his dad, like kills and then the whole thing. I think Gustav's purpose serves to elevate Alphonse's characterization a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Mhm.
Like when he proclaimed to, oh my god, I forget who he proclaimed it to, but it was like that one. It's like, oh yeah, I killed my father, and him,
Right.
like Alphonse making the need to step into the role. Oh, I thought that was really good. So for that reason,
Yeah.
I like Gustav and what he brings.
That makes it sound like Gustave was just like a plot point.
I mean, technically,
Well,
I feel like every character kind of is.
I
to
mean,
some
that's
extent.
every FE dad, Loki.
But that's actually facts, dude, bro. That's
That's
so
true.
true.
That's so true. Damn.
Either
man.
one or the other or both. So
Yup.
In
Yeah,
this
that's
case,
true.
it was Gustav. So
But at least it was pretty badass. He took the hit for Alphonse, and then he came back,
Yeah.
resurrected. That was pretty cool.
mhm.
And then we can't forget how cool the jelly people are with Lith and
Oh my
Thrasier.
God. I love Thrasier.
Jelly people are like that brought like some of the cooler, like resplendent alts out there.
Yup. For sure.
All right. So what else do I have in my notes? Yeah, I think that about covers most of it. I think we've glazed book 3 enough. It's
Quite a
so
bit.
true.
It is.
Yeah.
It is pretty great. Pretty great. Not gonna lie. So I think S tier is probably where we all agree it belongs. So
Yeah.
let us
By-
move
by a
on to
long
book
margin,
4. Book 4 was pretty interesting. It is a bit of a 160 from book 3, where we were going from death and edge lord to what don't you want to have fairies and dreams and flowers kind of
Yeah.
world with Liolsofamer and Dolkelheimer, the realms of good dreams and bad dreams. We get some pretty interesting new characters. The fairies, Peony, Mirabilis, Triandra, Plumeria. We got
Oh, yeah.
the 2 gods that rule over the realms, Freyr and Freya, who have a bond that's a little too close for my comfort, that's for sure.
Hey, yo.
I'm just
That's
saying,
true.
I'm
That's
it was a little bit weird reading that. I was like, dude, back off of Freyr, man. He's just trying to live his life.
That's crazy, bro.
I will say that this book was where things started to get confusing for me. Where it was like,
Dang.
oh, are we in a dream? Are we in the dream within a dream? Are we
It's
in
like
the real
Inception,
world? I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I personally had a bit trouble
thought-
following. I even had trouble following as I was rereading it. I'm like, what the fuck? Are we back in the real world? What is going on?
Yeah, like who is Alphonse? Who are you? Like
Yeah.
that's a big
It's like,
thing.
oh, are you actually the summoner? Or it's like I don't know. This was where I'm not the biggest fan of book 4, but rereading it, it does have some pretty decent plot points. It's pretty sad actually because all the fairies in
Yep.
their like mortal lives were actually like kids that had terrible like childhoods.
Lives, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, holy shit, this is pretty
Yeah.
fucking dark for
Which I
Fire
like.
Emblem, man.
Yeah. I actually really like this. It's low key. This might be my second or third favorite book.
Gotcha. I could see that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cap. I really liked it, and they're potentially foreshadowing the Avengers in like a later book.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
that's a
So,
big plot point.
Just saying, that could be book 9 or 10. I think it's gonna be 10.
Probably 10 maybe.
We're at the point in Fire Emblem Heroes where like I think they're genuinely gonna be at the very least like 10th anniversary. Like I feel. Like.
Oh yeah, by far.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This game is
Yeah,
not
regardless
dying.
of what people. Yeah, and it makes a lot of money still.
Oh
so-
yeah, because of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All they have to do is make another Edelgard alt, and then they're like, oh wow, we gained like 400k.
Prints
this
money,
day,
guys.
just today.
Yeah,
Come on.
young Edelgard duo coming up. Yeah. Like,
Oh, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So book 4 has been pretty good. Honestly, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected rereading it. I think I'm comfortable putting it S or A. What about you, Enemy?
Honestly, because it has the best Fire Emblem character.
Yeah,
at
I was
the
about to say
beginning,
like Enemy,
it's
like
definitely S++. So, and, but
Oh,
minus,
I'd put it S.
but ignoring that completely subjective point,
Yeah.
I would probably put it around A. I think from a concept-wise, it's significantly more interesting than 1 and 2 combined, right?
Oh, yeah, for
like
sure.
you said, I love the mystery box it uses in the sense that you don't really know what's going on. So every chapter you're kind of curious, like, who are we, where are we, what's going on, the disguises. I like that. Honestly, even though I love fairies though, is it weird to say that I think this was truly the moment like Fae is not a Fire Emblem game? Like they just threw the designs like so out of whack, right? Like so out of whack.
it's quite different from the rest.
Like so out of whack.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
like
goat
I obviously
people
love
and
it.
Stuff.
I'm a
Yeah.
fan.
I love it, but objectively, I can definitely see
Yeah.
why it gets a lot of like side eye. Like, oh, what is this? I
I mean, it doesn't. It's not as bad as the later book, but we'll get there.
which is crazy to think about. Like, this is considered tame. Like, bro, this is the reason why I
Yeah.
can't play Fae in public. Like, yeah, this is. yeah, I would
I thought
put
you
it-
meant like gameplay wise for a sec, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess. On the Avengers point, which is huge because
Yeah.
I both love and hate it. Like, for better for worse, this book is not, I guess, done, kind of. Because we don't really know what's going on with Freya, and then we saw Lif and Thracier, and then Plumeria.
Right.
and,
Yeah.
come in. So I love it because it's so exciting. Like, it could probably make the best, a book, like you said, 9, 10. But it also leaves, in my opinion, book 4 empty or unfinished in a sort of sense. And I guess you could apply that
I like
argument to most other books, but I wish it had just a stronger or like more conclusive finisher. So for that, I would put it in A.
I personally like that. I
Oh, really?
like how
Yeah, I personally don't mind
like,
either. Yeah.
I like how there's a difference between leaving it open in a bad way versus a good way, and I feel like this is one of those things where it's a good way because it's no secret that Faye likes to crunch every book within 1 year.
That's
and I
true.
think it's really good to leave it unfinished on purpose. Like, not like, again, in a bad way, where like how like book 2 kind of had it,
Yeah.
or whatever. It basically like, because like let's say like book 9, right? And okay, let me give a good example. Book 8, I feel like could have been way better. Not 8, 7 could have been way better had it
Oh,
been like
boy.
2 years or something. I said it. If it had actually more time to flesh things out.
Yeah, I would say so too, for sure.
Pun intended, by the way. If it had more time,
Bro.
it would like flourish. But like the fact that they left it like open ended to like potentially go back to it, I think could do a lot for just like, even the story of book 4, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I'd say they
Yeah.
go back to it in book 9, and then like that'll, depending on what they do in book 9, that would make book 4's story just better, because you'll be like, oh my god, book 4 led to this. Oh my god, you know. So, you know,
I
that's
can
how
see where you're
look at
coming
it.
from.
Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
I explained that right, but that's my head process, I guess.
No, honestly, when you made the difference between like a good way of leaving it open, honestly, I can rock with that. Like, you probably don't want to have everything completely closed off anyways. So
Yeah.
I can see that, and yeah, honestly, okay, you know what? You changed my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, I would probably put it in like S or A. Yeah,
Okay,
objectively A, subjectively S plus, but like yeah, somewhere in
I'm
there.
Okay.
biased with Rocket Gal, and I'm also gonna say S.
All right. Yeah. I think S2.
Yeah.
One thing I think we forgot to mention was the whole is Sharena Peony? Is Peony Sharena? Kind of plot point. That
yes,
that
yes,
actually was like pretty crazy at the time. Like that was the reason why I kept reading
Yeah,
the story.
especially since like also Sharena like got nothing for like most of Faye's life.
Exactly.
You know?
So this made her arguably the
The
main
spotlight.
character of this book.
Yeah, but they kind of did rob it in the end from her. But
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was like, oh, are we actually switched? It's like, no, it turns out you and I are kind of the same. We are two halves of a whole. I'm like, so is this Sharena,
Wait.
our Sharena? Like, what's going on?
Or
I don't
not,
get it.
like-
It was so open-ended.
yeah,
I guess it's
I
just up to
remember-
interpretation.
I remember reading this one comment that was like only the Askarians, the Askarans, Asker people, they can open the portals, right?
Oh yeah,
Am I
that's true.
tripping?
Yeah.
So like, couldn't you just like, hey, Peony, like Sharina, like just sit down, like which one of you can open portals? And if it's Sharina
true
that can open
test.
portal, then she can, then she's Sharina, or like if Peony
Yeah.
could somehow open portals, then like, whoopsies, like that's a big oofy, you know. But
yeah. Okay,
so that's pretty
That's true. I
funny
didn't
though.
think about that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I just, that's so funny, but neither did the writers probably. But,
Yeah, they probably fucking forgot about book 1 story.
I mean, I would too. We all did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. So we probably have like real Sharena, real Peony, the way they are
Yeah.
then. But it was
Yeah.
an interesting thing that they tried to shoehorn in, which was kind of interesting, but it was also mostly kind of confusing. But still, book 4 pretty solid, pretty good.
I loved it. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of solid, we're going to Nidavellir and Jotunheimer for book 5. This book was all about the little, like the Verger, I think they're called, the dwarf
the
inspired
dwarfs,
people.
yeah, and the giants,
And the
yeah.
Jotunheimers people, you know, my people. Those people are awesome.
My people.
The Jotuns are fucking awesome. If I were a Fey OC, I would want to be a Jotun. That's all I'm
they're
saying.
pretty badass. Yeah.
Anyways, enough of me fangirling. So, book 5 was all about Fafnir. Fafnir became the king of Nidavellir, and he used to be all nice and stuff, but all of a sudden, after he became king, he wanted to conquer worlds, and now he has come for Asker. He has sent his younger sister, Reagan, to fight the Askerans, but she got defeated, and now she's joined them as a hostage slash... Actually, she wasn't a hostage. She was more like, oh, I see the error of my ways. Now I gotta
Yeah.
defeat Fafnir and stuff.
Yeah.
So it feels a little more basic, a little bit back to the fundamentals of like kind of normal-ish stuff of, hey, we're fighting bad guy. Bad guy has army, he big bad guy kind of person. He's got his little minions like Odor and stuff. Oh my god, Odor.
Odor.
Good old
So
Phoenix.
funny.
Odor Master
Odor
1,
Master
right?
1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Odor's so funny.
You know, just a normal guy who happens to be a mythic. You know how things are.
Yeah, same applies to Reagan. Yeah, she's just the girl.
But she's mythical, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah, but yeah, book 5 was pretty cool. It was a little bit strange at first seeing the mech, the Gulenbursty mechs that
Oh, yeah.
they
The
written. I'm
steampunk
like, what is
Kanto,
this?
yeah.
Like this is very strange. Like this is Fire Emblem. What? I thought we were still
Yeah.
using swords and rocks and sticks, and you guys are throwing missiles at us.
Yeah,
Very
mechs.
very jarring at first, but I think after you get used to it, it's fine. Even if it's still like obviously with missiles, the Nidavellir should be like conquering all these worlds.
Like, how do you miss?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I always really like the design of the Verger people, Oder, Fafnir, and Reagan. I think they're very solid designs, designed by Yusuke Kozaki. I don't know if you guys have anything to comment on that.
Honestly, I liked book 5 a lot, and I would actually think that objectively it might be better than book 4. I don't know if that's all
Whoa. I guess I could kind of agree.
I think for me it's a very structurally sound story with enough plot twists to make things interesting. Like they have the foreshadowing or like little glimpses of Eitri, right?
Oh yeah,
And-
Eitri. Yeah,
Yeah,
the little
Eitri-
gremlin.
The little
I hate that
gremlin, you know.
character. I hate that
her.
character so
She's
much.
annoying as hell, but like from a device standpoint, I think she's very like she's basically the big bad, and we didn't know it yet, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
She she essentially like made Fafnir, like she brought him out, right?
Yeah, which is fucked up.
Which is like messed up in so many different ways, but to me that like reimagined how you thought, not just the story, not just the world, like your opinions on Fafnir. Like, is he really the villain? Like, he didn't mean to be this way. You questioned, like Reagan was having an existential crisis with
Oh
her
my
brother,
God,
and like
yeah.
so were we, right? I loved what every character brought. Like even the Jotun, like I thought they were, like Note just randomly had, was like down bad for Oder. Like what the hell is this? Like
what
this
the
is
fuck?
funny as
Yeah,
shit.
she could
Like,
do way
Yeah,
better.
so
Huh? She could do
you know
way
what I
better.
mean?
Like, why?
this
She could do
book just
way
had
better.
so much of like things to keep you going, in my opinion. Better than book 4 even, because while book 4 had the mystery of, who are you, or like who's the summoner, here you just had constant like questions of like where are we going, why is Fafnir this way, and then the big twist. Like I actually think this is probably one of the best twists in all of Faye's story. I really loved the way they did book 5.
Wait, which twist are you talking about?
Like the one it was like Fafnir was taken, like
Oh,
like,
yeah,
taken
yeah,
out
yeah.
of the world, right? Because that was something I did not like consider.
I don't think
yeah.
anyone considered that.
Yeah,
honestly.
no one really considered it, right?
Yeah, it felt kind of random, but it was interesting random instead of like, oh, okay, kind of random.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, like it's probably just a subjective opinion. Like I mean, obviously everything we're talking about is just a subjective opinion, right? Like you could probably fly arguments different ways. Yeah, I don't know. I like book 5. I thought it was pretty cool.
I did too. Satoshi, what about you? Oh boy, let's hear it.
I'm not gonna lie, this is like bottom 2 for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow, that's
I did not.
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe it was because this is like my least interested I ever was with Faye at this point. I'm not gonna lie to you because of like the things that were happening and like the Fatal Guard hate, that like just everything.
God.
Maybe it's that. I don't know. Maybe it was just like I don't know. There was so much going on with like Fire Emblem at that time. Like Faye, I just did not care. I also did not care. I don't know. I was. It's so weird because I was so hyped for this book. I was genuinely so hyped. But then like all like Eitri, I really freaking hated. I did not like her at all. Like it wasn't even like, oh, this character is annoying, but like they're supposed to be annoying, like a good annoying, for the story. For me, it wasn't even that. It was just like Gremlin, shut the fuck up. like book 5 ending with like the freaking that what was it,
Like
like
a
a
monologue?
Facebook mom like rant post on
Yeah.
like that Eitri did. Like I was like, what the hell is this? Like that was actually my least favorite like book ending like ever. I was like, wow, this is just ass. I'm sorry. I didn't like half the freaking OCs there. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I didn't. Yeah, I really
Damn.
didn't. Not a lot of things like wowed me there. I did like the Fafnir part, that twist. That twist I genuinely liked, but I didn't really. I don't know. It wasn't for me. That's all I'll say. That's really all I'll say. It just wasn't for me.
That's fair.
I can acknowledge why a lot of people would super love it. But for me, I don't know. It didn't click.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's the most respectful like down talking I've ever gave a book.
No.
Like I could see it's people liking it. Don't get me wrong, but it was just not for me.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
I will say that I do love some of the memes that came out of it, like the Fafnir faces.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
They're
yeah.
awesome
Yeah,
and
yeah.
creepy.
Bro's got expressions. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh man, it's insane.
I can already see the comments being like, Satachi, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, but
I
that's
know
the
book
thing
5
with
is
the
like
ranking
everyone's
and all
favorite.
the books. Yeah, that's the thing with ranking the
Yeah,
story
yeah.
because it's always subjective. Like everyone's
yeah,
gonna
for
have
sure.
their own opinion on that. So, yeah, I think your opinion is very incredibly valid. Like it's how it
Yeah, for
resonated
sure.
with you.
Yeah.
So,
And again, I can understand. Like, I'm not gonna crap on someone for liking book 5.
yeah.
It's just again wasn't for me.
Gotcha. I also
Yeah.
find that a lot of these books are kind of carried by whether you like their characters or not. I personally wasn't
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest fan of book 2's characters, so that's probably why I didn't care too much for book 2. But I liked book 5's characters, and so I probably like book 5 more. But it's like the opposite for Satoshi, and that makes sense.
Yeah. No, but also even for book 2 for me, like I love the characters of book 2, but I would put book 2 in seats here.
Gotcha.
So it's case by case for me. I don't know.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting because I actually don't even really care that much about the book 5 OCs, but I just think the story is that good. So for me, like even
Yeah.
I was impressed. But yeah, obviously I love. So yeah, it depends.
Okay, gotcha. In terms of rating this is a little awkward because we got people who like
Yeah,
this,
it's
people who
true.
don't like
Yeah.
this. Should we just put it?
We can meet in the middle, right?
Yeah, but then
I think meeting in the middle. No, I thought meeting in the middle would be like, because you guys are hard pushing S. So since I don't like it that much, I thought it would be bottom of S or something.
gotcha. Maybe
I
like a
don't
B
think-
then.
I don't think it should be that far down because of me. Like I said, I respect a lot of what it
Yeah,
does.
but your
Like, I don't hate
opinion
it.
is 1/3. Okay, we can't.
That's true.
We
That's
cannot
true,
take it
that's
down to
true.
just
I'm
bottom.
so
S,
sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You know, that's the point. That's why I have it here.
Yeah, I know.
opinion.
I think it's funny. I think it's kind of funny though.
But I think B, like, maybe
Yeah.
top of
Yeah.
B is probably fine here.
Yeah,
That's
let's put
fair.
it in B. I like it.
All right, cool. Yeah, see, like it's important that we're not all like, oh, I like all of it. I like this book. Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
Like that's boring. I'm glad we have
Yeah.
dissenting
Diversity.
opinions. That's what makes us all unique. As long as we're not
Yeah.
rude about it, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that's fine. Of course, your opinion is very much valid, Satachi. Never say that again in front of me. You said
Or
never
ever.
make fun of yourself in front of me ever again.
Ever. Yeah.
How dare you shit on yourself? All right. Okay. All right. All right. So book 5 is done. Solid book. Let us move on to book 6. Book 6 is all about Asker and Embla again. So kind of going back to square one. This was all about Letizia, who was the leader of the Curse Directive, who
The
was
cursed directive.
yeah, which was like the Order of Heroes, but like the evil version or the Emblem version, I guess, and how like I believe they wanted to like take over the government, like they wanted to dethrone Veronica essentially, right?
Yeah.
Which was actually interesting. It shows that,
That was cool.
there's some politics behind these like books. Like in my head, it's just like, oh, Asker is just the trio, but maybe even within Asker, there's royal families that are like, oh, I don't really like what those Asker trio are doing, kind of thing, And
Yeah.
now we see this with Embla. It's like, oh, there's a lot of scheming and conniving, and we see that even blood relations, like Letizia, does not like Veronica and stuff. And I thought that was pretty compelling.
Yeah, like a lot of complexity. Actually, your phrase alone just improved my opinion of book 6 alone, because
What?
just on
Yeah.
that. Because actually, like, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead. I have a pretty low opinion of book 6.
Oh,
honestly,
interesting.
which is,
Gotcha.
Maybe it's because it's retreading the ideas of book 1. Like, to me, it feels like a half book. But honestly, you gave a lot of credit, rightfully so, on what it did for the world building, which out of any world to flesh out the most, it should be this one. Like, this is our main,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And the idea that bring in, like you said, the royal politics, the depth between not just us, but also like, the Emblian people at the time. And then now Veronica was like, she's now like an anti-hero, or maybe now hero now, as opposed to an antag. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
yeah.
liked how that was done too. So yeah, like your praise alone, honestly, probably like upped my opinion of book 6 a little bit. I still don't love it, but it's not that bad.
This is why I had a hard time putting book 4, because book 4 and 6 is tied for my second favorite. I don't know which one I
Gotcha.
like more.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I love how they kind of fixed a lot of the issues book 1 had. They gave us the best dynamics ever, that being the divorced couple of Asker and Ella. they gave us they gave us like they gave us like Veronica's whole growth as a character, and I super loved it. And on top of that, that ending, oh my god, they teased duo Sharena and Veronica
that was
like
pretty
2
cute.
years early. That was so cute.
was really
Oh
cool.
my god, I just love the whole like dynamic of everyone. I love like I felt like everyone had like a purpose there, except for Elm. Get out of here.
Yeah, I literally
Um,
forgot about Elm, honestly. until you
He
mentioned
can
that.
get out of here, but everyone had a purpose and they fulfilled it. Whether you liked them or not, they did something, and I really appreciated that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, like they even brought Bruno. It's like, oh, the whole blood curse thing that he was eluding this whole time. It finally has some
yeah.
payoff, and then he had to
Yeah.
die and stuff.
I
So,
agree a lot.
yeah.
Especially in Satachi, when you were like, everyone has a purpose. To me, what Letizia and Embla is what should have held Bindy and Surtur been. Like, I
Yeah.
love the dynamic of having, because both Letizia and Embla are like quote unquote evil or bad or whatever, but they're both, you know, evil and bad in their own different ways. They have their own different motivations, their own different relationships with everyone involved. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like everyone has a purpose, except Elm and. Oh my god, this is so mean, but like maybe Ash. Honestly, I didn't really know what Ash's point was, other than just like
I
Ash,
kinda agree
I
with
feel
it.
like they kind of Ash is the okay. The only thing I don't like about the book is like they kind of had Ash just to, I feel like, have her at the start, and then they were like, actually, let's not do anything.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, that's what I kind of felt like too. Yeah.
Which is why, so I take that back. Everyone minus Elm and Ash, but yeah.
God, that's like half the cast.
But I mean,
man.
that's not true. It's
Yeah.
like a third. But I feel like they did that on purpose, because I feel like low-key, this is my theory, but I feel like they're doing loose ends on purpose in like a bad way to like expand on them in like the Tempest Trial stories. Like, I
Right,
have a
yeah.
feeling we're gonna see them
Yeah.
in the Tempest Trial stories, and then they're gonna expand more, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not that big of a fan of, if you don't do it right, of course, you know. Because that goes back to what I was talking about. Like, you can end a book with open-ended stuff, just don't
Do it right.
do a shit job.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I actually love the Tempest Trial stories, but then I hate it when, like, kind of like you said, they don't do it properly. Like for
Yeah.
me,
Exactly,
when they did the book 4, Tempest Trial, I wanted them to bring up the point that, like, yeah, the Avengers are coming. You know, like literally
Yeah.
what happens.
I think
to
they
that
did that
plot
on
point.
purpose. I genuinely think that's going to be like the next book or the book after. I genuinely think that's why. But I don't like this. Again, maybe it's because I don't like book 5 that much, but I didn't like this Tempest Trial story.
Gotcha. In terms of book 6, one thing, it did give us some great quotes. I remember Elm said to Ash, "Shut up." It was like, "Shut up, you cow," or something.
Oh my god, that was so diss. Like,
Yeah.
goddamn, bro.
Pretty
Oh,
That
and
was
I'm gonna
so
kill you.
diss.
Yeah,
too.
I'm gonna kill you. That was.
Oh,
That was awesome.
Yeah, they brought us
Oh,
that, so come on now. That, again, this is Alphonse, you know, growing
yeah,
up, being more
Alphonse
of a Chad too.
really showed
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah, this was another like Alphonse book for sure.
Yeah. So.
Also,
I was
sorry, go
ready to
ahead.
put it low, but because of the Alphonse characterization moment, yeah, I'm actually like more than happy to put book 6 higher on
Yeah.
we're just like digesting the story together.
yeah. What were you saying, Rocky? Yeah?
Oh, I was just gonna mention like this is also the first time we see Asker and Embla, the gods of like the two nations that we are with, and I feel like their designs are some of the best in Heroes
Oh my
OC.
God.
They
Yeah.
both epitomize their like countries like ideals. Like Asker's just so bubbly, so happy, so open, so friendly. Embla is I know she's like supposed to be like all evil and mean, but I think deep down she's more like lonely, sad. What else? Just
Yeah, like she's a complicated character, right?
yeah, exactly. And I think her physically, they both I feel like
Yeah.
exemplify that well as well. I feel like Asker is more like lively, like more vitality and stuff, and Embla feels like
Yeah.
she is like she looks like she's I don't know, this sounds kind of mean, but maybe she looks a little too malnutritioned and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's again, I'm not skinny shaming by any means, but she just is very skinny. Almost as if she's like withering away. from her loneliness and being so closed off. That at least that's the my interpretation of it.
Yeah, I also share a similar feeling, and I love their
That
dynamic.
makes you kind of bad.
Well, okay, well that one is
All right, I'm
certainly. And anyway, I mean she is bad. But anyways, yeah, like, and you see in a lot of books they have the like broken male figure, and then like a girl that comes in and like I can fix him type deal, right? I love how Ash and Embla, sorry, not Ash, I'm dumb myself, Asker and Embla, it's like a reverse play on that. Like, Embla is kind of the troubled person, and Asker is kind of like the person that, like cheers her up and fixes her in that sense. I love how they play with that. I love how they, do it in this own like unique way that makes sense. This is another reason to put Book 6 back even higher than originally imagined, which is funny because I was going to put this super low, but now I'm like, there's so many good reasons to like Book 6.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's pretty decent. I think just the biggest weakness was Ash and Embla feeling like they're not super consequential, which is a bit disappointing, especially for like your new main character Ash that we get for free and everything. So I think all that factored in, I think maybe an A placement would be solid.
That's
yeah,
fair.
I was gonna say A or top of B, but like, I mean, if we're all happy with A, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah,
with
I'm
A.
happy with it.
Okay, gotcha. Because I think it's better than book 5. Wait, yeah, 5. But I still think book 4 and 3 are a cut above. But I feel like a lot of people really do like book.
I flip flop between book 4 and 6 a lot. Yeah, for second.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think book 5 is thematically more interesting, but I don't know if it's fair to give it points for that because book 6 is like just a return back to like our main, world. So
Right. Yeah.
it's hard to say. Yeah, honestly, put like the order between 5 and 6 is very difficult. I think I can see like swapping them too.
Gotcha. I think for now maybe book 5 or book 6 and A is probably solid for now.
Yeah, let's leave it.
All right, gotcha. Okay, let us move on to book 7. This one is all about going to the world of light, to Vanaheimer, which is like the land of the gods, I believe. It's like the birthplace of a lot of the gods. It's where Freyr and Freya are originally from, so that's pretty interesting. It is a world that is plagued by the golden curse. And there's Gulveig. Hathor is dying because of Golden Curse, and only you, Alphonse, can find a way to fix our problems, and that's kind of the main thing here. It introduced Sathor, Hathor, Gulveig, and Kvasir. If you really think about it, it's actually not too many new units they included or introduced. There's also Njorthur, who I guess we'll touch on him later, and Nerthus. All pretty interesting new characters. Overall, the story was interesting, but with the whole time being the main theme of this story, it definitely was a bit like book 4, where I had a lot of trouble following it personally. I don't know if you guys also had that same problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I did.
I think like book 7 is hard to follow, but it's also kind of designed to be hard to follow, both narratively and in structure, because like they mix up the chapters or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Which is fine if you have like a payoff for it. Like there's a lot of Inception is another movie that like is hard to follow the first time you watch it, but if you really sit down and follow it through, there's a humongous payoff. For book 7, if you really sit down and follow it through, like bro, you probably just wasted like 2 hours of your life. Like it's actually troubling. Like yeah, book 7 was pretty hard to follow, and in my opinion it did not land the landing. It didn't stick the landing.
I also kind of agree. What about you, Sadachi?
Now, I'm not gonna say the story was good, because I'll just be lying. But what I will say is I will not let one bad line ruin Sathor. And I will not let people's opinion on
line.
Golvig's design ruin her character. I feel like the characters deserved more than the story that they were in.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. Because
Yeah.
Golvig's tragedy and whatnot, I thought was really beautiful and amazing. Sather, I thought was funny and dorky and stupid, and I really liked that. As a god, she's trying to be like, oh my god, I have to act a certain way, and then she's like all just goofy and
Yeah.
silly. I think that's really cute.
I do like that.
And yeah, aside from that, I think those two are fine. I think some of the force is hate, and that some of the hate is forced. And I think because of that, people aren't giving them the chance that I don't want to say deserved, because I get it, not liking the design, but I feel like if you just let that just cloud your vision throughout the whole thing, that's just obnoxious. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, to be honest, book 7 is the book I want to love the most.
Me
Like,
too.
It was the first book that because I came like one chapter off from when book 6 started. So this is the first time when book 7 started. I was like there from the very, very beginning. I was super into the time travel stuff. I love time travel stories. I had so much hype and truly loved the story. Like, I literally had the splash screen of Faye book 7 like as my phone like home screen for a bit. So I was like, yo, this shit hype.
Nice.
Like, this
That
shit is
that
so
was a
cool.
fire. That was a fire art. I can't
Dude, it was
lie.
a
It was
fire.
awesome, yeah.
But
So
like,
good.
yeah. Sather, I really like Sather a lot. I don't. It's like Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. I'm not letting one bad line ruin the whole thing for me.
Wait,
For a
what?
character.
What was the line in Attack of the Clones that ruined it?
Yeah.
Was it the sand
never
one?
seen
I hate. Yeah, the sand one. So many people hate the movie.
What
They-
happens? I haven't seen any.
Oh
yeah.
my god. I hate the
That's
sand.
a-
It's
that's a
coarse.
story
It's
for another
rough and
time.
coarse. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay.
just yeah. And then Golvig, I really like her whole tragedy, being in like that whole time loop and then whatnot. And I thought it was really sad, and I really liked Golvig. But was the story good? Hell no. And because of that, I don't know where I'd put it actually. It's not
Similar
yeah,
to book
actually, I don't even
1
know.
for me, because it's like so good in theory. Like the ideas are great, and like
Yeah.
but just the actual execution is just so dog. It's like really difficult. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like maybe B, like. But then, bro, if you actually put like 7 next to 5, it's gonna look like a war crime, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I don't know.
I already said book 5 was my least favorite, so
Yeah,
I'm
you're
already
right.
getting shot somewhere.
You're right.
Right. It's a tough one. This book 7 is very complicated.
Very controversial, right? Yeah.
Because there are good things about it, but there are things that very much destroy it.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking. Obviously, I don't care about the "would you create a child with me?" because that was awesome. Like, oh, fuck yeah, of course I would.
Hey yo. Hey.
That,
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
That's just a funny meme at this point. But
Yeah, it is a funny thing.
Hold on, wait. Actually, wait. This is such a dumb question, but like, who was the child? I mean, was it Hather? Like, what
yeah,
came of
it
that?
was Hather, right? Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. The story is confusing.
Yeah, like,
It's
Actually, now that I think
confusing.
about
It's
it,
very confusing.
Yeah. Hather was okay. So I think the idea was, Sather was supposed to have Hather, the child, but then they sent her back in time or something. But then, and her whole point was to be the vessel for the golden curse. I think that Sather was
The
supposed to
golden serpent or
eventually
whatever,
like
yeah.
get. I guess. See, the whole thing is very confusing.
It
And this
is.
whole thing was like a plot by Njorther to kill the Asker people because, oh, you killed my children. I'm like, bro.
Which was the worst plot twist in the whole phase.
Oh, actually,
yeah,
that was really
Njorther
weak. Honestly, that was really weak.
very
That
much
was-
a letdown,
That was horrible.
which it sucked because his design was cool. It's like God Jagan, man.
I love the design. Honestly,
Yeah.
like for that
He
alone,
looked cool, but like, damn.
yeah, for that alone, I'm pretty happy to putting it C. Like I was on the
Yeah.
fence beforehand, but just thinking like he's literally supposed to be big bad. He's like Surtur levels of bad, to be honest, which is depressing. So I would probably put him in C.
Yeah.
Which is sad because I love book 7, but yeah.
I think C is. I'm comfortable with C. I don't think it's so bad that it's D tier.
I don't think any, yeah.
But then, like, within the C tier, we're Jocelyn here.
I would put it top. I don't know if that's a hot take. What do you guys think?
I kind of also think because while it's not
Yeah.
great, at least it's not super boring. Whereas book 1 and 2 got, especially 2 in my opinion, was so boring at times that, like, I'd rather have a bad but kind of
Yeah.
interesting story than just a boring story,
Yeah.
personally.
I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe top of C. I think the hate for it is a little exaggerated because of the "would you make a child with me" kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
That was
like
a big meme.
it's just a giant meme, but if you factor that out, it's like it's an okay story. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of Sather constantly gobbling the summoner's meat and everything. I'm like, holy
Gobbling.
shit.
Yo.
I'm like,
That's so
I'm
funny.
just saying, it's always about the summoner is my true
Can we
destiny."
talk about how much of a Chad the Summoner is? Sather and Fjorm being obsessed over you?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just saying.
exactly. I'm just, like,
I'm
holy
just saying that's gotta be a duo eventually. Anyways.
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
Yeah, wait, does Fjorm know about Sather's? Like, I never read any of the Forging Bonds to know if they've ever, like, interacted.
Yeah, I'm actually not totally sure either. I'm not
I
caught up on
forgot.
Forging Bond.
I only do
Yeah.
Forging Bonds if it's characters I like, aka just Edelgard and Violet. So
Yeah, but you love
Take that as you
Fjorm.
will.
but- Yeah, I guess it's, yeah.
yeah.
Fjord's everywhere. It's in all of them.
That's true, yeah, you can't be reading every single
Yeah.
Forging Bonds. Fjorming Bonds, right?
Trying to
Yeah,
get
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, like, Sather, I like that she's more involved than Ash. Like, maybe accidentally or on purpose, they learned that to make... She was so involved that she's 3 different characters in one. So, you know,
Oh
no
my
one
God,
can say
yeah,
that
that's
Sather
true.
was
She's probably the most
uninvolved.
involved.
Yeah.
Right? No one can say she was uninvolved.
Right.
Which is good. So, I like having, heroine that's... Or, like... They should have a male OC to give us one day, but they probably
They're
don't have
not gonna do that, man. You can't sell male OCs to a mainly male audience.
one. That's true. But I like having the main, like, book character be involved, so I will give 7 points for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but the gobbling is fun. The I will never not call it the gobbling from this point onwards.
Bro, she can. Never mind. All right, next.
Hey, yo.
Okay, my bad. All right, let us move. Let us move on to the final, at least finished book so far. We are going to book 8, which is all about Yggdrasil, the World Tree, and the Healing Hands, who are these group of like doctors for hire kind of people. They're here to like, cure people whenever they're like dying and stuff. But all of a sudden, they want to kill people instead. What's going on? They're trying to interrupt the peace treaty between Asker and Emblem. What is going on? Now they're gonna think we don't want peace. So what's that about? We got Ratatosker, we got Hresvelger, Neithhoger, Eikthrnir, Heithrun, and Laerother. I think I pronounced them all right.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting cast. I like how they all really stand out. Like, there's no like you can make the argument for book 2, like, oh, Leegyarn and Levitain, they're pretty similar, to the point where I don't really feel like they needed to have 2 characters, but I feel like with the Healing Hands, they were a very wide and varied cast, which was pretty nice. What else is there about to say about book 8? It's all right. If I'm being honest, I found it a little boring at times. I don't know if that's a hot take.
I'm with you on that.
There were some interesting plot points of, Laird, they're taking control of Henriette and stuff like that, but I felt like that was the only kind of interesting plot point. The rest was just, okay, let's go to Yggdrasil and kill them kind of thing. It felt a little kind of back to basics, but without too many like twists and turns along the way. There was like one story plot that was kind of interesting of Laerther and how he used to be like a healer for like a king or something, but then the king killed all his children. But then it's like, oh, but I'm gonna plant the seed into these other characters, and these are my children, kind of my children. It was definitely sad and pretty brutal.
Yeah, not gonna lie, that was a crazy chapter.
Oh yeah, for sure. for sure. That was it made me actually feel for the tree dude for a little bit. But I don't know. I feel like what was his whole motivation for killing Asker and Embla people again?
I think it was because, like, you're talking about our main crew, right?
Right, yeah.
It was because he as in the big tree guy, wanted to force the summoner to use some sort of power that, like, you know, the tree guy was convinced that we had to bring his children back to life. But he did not know that he himself was like a vessel.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting plot point as well.
Yeah.
Actually, it's something I saw that was interesting on Twitter, and this is maybe a fan theory, but is that in like the splash art of book 8, there's like this mask of like a dude in the middle, and that's supposed to clearly represent Laerther, but that doesn't look like him, so that must have been like his past self before he was tree-esque, kind of. And the tree version of him, that's not really what he looks like. He planted himself into a tree, and that's what we see, but that's not what he really is. He was actually just a dude. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Crazy.
I felt like why didn't they tell us this? Like, you need me to learn this from Twitter, guys?
I did not personally. I didn't catch that. So that was.
I didn't either. I didn't catch it on Twitter.
I don't know. I thought the hook, like the start of this book, was kind of weak. I'm not gonna lie.
I felt so too. Yeah.
And then it did pick up. I don't think there's anything like I could complain about it really. I was satisfied for what it was.
I feel like that too. Although it felt very plain. Like it felt a little inconsequential. Like no one really died except for Laerther, Tree Dude.
And he was already a vessel, so like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess all the healing hands are, but at least Nidhogger and Hraesvelgr got a chance to live again, kind of thing. You know, all like the Naruto pain, like, oh, I'm gonna bring back everyone kind of situation. So, for better or worse, at least we get the characters that we like back, but it almost felt like, what was the whole point of that story? A little bit. That's how I kind of felt towards the end. Like, what was that all about? Kind of thing.
I agree with you, yeah. What was the point? Like, when you mentioned how there wasn't that many plot twists and turns, I completely agree. I think that Book 7 is similar to like Book 1 and 2 in the sense that they had like some twists, right? It's not like there was none. I think the twist where they had like you're not really alive, you're just a seed. That was very cool. But that's basically the only wow factor that brought you along for the story.
Exactly.
As opposed to Book 4 constantly had a wow factor. Book 7 had too many wow factors for its own good. Right? So in comparison, of course you're going to feel like, what was the whole point? Because really, there wasn't a lot stringing you along for Book 8.
Exactly.
I remember when it started, I was actually very intrigued because if anyone gave me the big bad, like, Surtur evil vibe, it was actually Tree Guy. Because unlike everyone else we've seen so far, they are, like, the rulers of their own, like, world or whatever. But, like, outside the world, it's, like, I don't really care. But this is the healing hands. They help everyone. Like, the whole realms, like, all realms. And this guy is through the veins of the trees. I was, like, very curious to see where they take it. But man, I was really let down.
The payoff wasn't as good.
It was really weak.
That's how I felt too. Tadachi, what about you?
It was a book. Yeah, I feel the same way y'all do. I remember I saw this one tweet where it was like, "Wow, this story is a lot like Five Nights at Freddy's if you really think about it." I'm like,
Wait,
"Wow,
what?
okay."
Okay,
no, the
whole
thing about like the 5 kids dying and then wanting the
Oh
dad
my
wanting
god,
to
I can
bring-
see that now.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I forgot who the original poster was, but when I saw that, I could not stop laughing. I was like, "Yup."
Bro. Oh my god.
But I mean, I still liked it. It was fine. I just wish the start grabbed my attention more. But hey, I'm not gonna complain over a book that doesn't have like super mega flaws, unlike some other ones. So
Yeah.
That's
Actually,
true.
speaking of the start, what do you guys think of Brother Tosca?
She's cute. I like when she hugs her tail. I think everyone likes the hugging tail.
I love
like,
I love that
"Ah!"
art.
That's
Honestly,
cute.
I
That's
love that
cute.
art.
Yeah, that's cute.
But the character
she's
herself,
whatever.
she seems a little basic. She's just like, oh, cute little girl and cute little anime girl kind of vibes, but I don't feel like she really added too much apart from. Well, I guess it was the whole plot point of her like possibly being the spy, and actually like Alphonse would be like, okay, I'm gonna use you as like a double agent kind of thing, right? Just kind of interesting, but I felt like it didn't lead to terribly much.
Yeah, it didn't lead to too much, but it did reinforce the idea that the Alphonse we see now is not the same Alphonse from
Yeah,
book
he
one.
ain't a boy
And it-
anymore. He's a man.
Yeah. Also, he was a very good tactician, like better tactician than oh my god, sorry guys, like Claude from Three Houses. Like I think Alphonse is like such a good tactician.
Not a high bar.
That's true.
I mean,
Oh,
like we
damn.
saw it.
That was mean. I did,
We saw
I
it so
do
much
like
from book
Claude.
7. So I guess in many ways this was an Alphonse book again.
Yeah.
And I'll give 8 for that credit for that.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, Claude fans. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Claude. Also, actually, sorry. The reason why I think we might think Ratatoskr is basic, because when we got Ratatoskr, like I wanted to like her. I really want to love all the book OCs they give us. But this is like the 4th time in the row they've given us okay, like I'm gonna describe an OC. Okay, it's a girl who tries her best but is a little dorky sometimes, but means well. And I feel like I just described Ratatoskr, Sather, Ash, and
Fjorm kind of.
Reagan. Yeah, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I
feel
kind of
like-
agree. Yeah.
Fjorm's a badass. I don't think Fjorm belongs
Okay,
here,
true,
but I
but-
do see.
like-
Yeah.
because Ash is someone who isn't tries her best but is a little bit dorky sometimes.
Yeah, she
and then
tripped and
Sather
stuff
is
in
a
the trailer.
goddess. Is a goddess who's a little bit dorky sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then speaking of tripping, Ratatoskr also tripped in the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
like they're all pretty like obviously I'm not saying they're 1-to-1, but that may be why we think they're
See the
kind of
pattern
basic.
here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm like, for book
Yeah.
9, they can't be doing this again. Like, guys, 4 times is
Hold my
enough.
beer. I just got this.
No,
That'll be on my
please.
bingo card. OC trips.
Oh my god, that's a
That's
girl.
so
Yeah, like,
specific.
no.
All right. Yeah, I agree for the most part. Yeah, I guess in retrospect and thinking about it more deeply, book 8 is not super great. I guess we're ending on a wet fart of a book right here.
I put it in B. I don't think it's bad, but I wouldn't put it in A.
Yeah, I definitely not put in A, B. Because in my mind, it's kind of similar to book 1 and 2, which is where it was so boring to the point where I was getting a little apathetic. But it wasn't like terribly bad. Like the execution wasn't terrible. It was just a little bit boring, which made me actually not like it that much.
Yeah, I'm with Rocket Gal. Like, on average, 8 was definitely better than 7. But for all the low lows, 7 had interesting high highs, and I personally remember 7 way more than I remember 8, and I think that will probably stay that way. So it's hard to put 8 over
And it
7.
just ended too, so imagine when the
Yeah.
recency bias is gone. Just saying.
Yeah,
Right.
I would put it under 7, above 2, but I don't know what you guys think.
I kind of agree, but Sataji, what about you?
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, well, come on, Sataji. Let's not compromise. Let me know
Under
what
7,
you
under
want.
7, under 7, under 7, under 7, under
Okay.
7.
Wow,
Yeah.
actually under 7. 'Cause I feel like the community feels like 7 is so bad, but I guess this is probably fair.
Yeah, because the lows of 7 are very low, but it's just
It's
an
very
interesting
low.
book. Like, I think, like, had a lot of interesting ideas.
Hey,
and
Yeah.
you'll remember
people
7.
hated on it, but they still kept reading. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's true.
All I'm gonna say. This is like the second book where like I got tired and I was like, yeah, I kind of don't care. I'll skip this one. Nothing seems interesting. So
Damn.
I'm just gonna be honest. Yeah. I only
want
felt
to
that way
care.
with 2 books. Book 5 and then this book.
I want to care, and I will give it points for the Alphonse characterization. I did kind of forget like how good it was at doing that. I think probably this and 6 are the best ones at Alphonse characterization. And like, I guess that's important, but yeah, it's very difficult to put it over 7. definitely not over 5. So yeah.
Right, yeah. I could almost see 8 and 7 kind of interchanging depending on the time and day, but it's around the same ballpark, so I think I'm pretty happy with where it is. Okay, I guess that about covers the story of Fire Emblem Heroes. It's been pretty fun going through memory lane. We've had some ups, we had some downs, and we had some downs. But you know, Fire Emblem Heroes might be a mixed bag, but there's a reason why we keep coming to it. It's Fire Emblem. It might not be perfect, but it's good enough. It's a fun time. So yeah. I don't know what to say about that.
That's what makes it Fire Emblem. And also, considering the mainline games have like some pretty atrocious stories, I think it's kind of fitting. I think it's kind of fitting that Faye has bad stories too. Like that's what makes it a true Fire Emblem game.
The story sucks.
So bad. The story sucks ass. It's really yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So just part tradition.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is our official tier list.
I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with
you guys?
Too.
I don't actually. Hey, my top 3 are literally on top 3, so I'll take it, I guess.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, like, man, because I'm like trying to fight for 5 a little bit. Like 5.
I'm not.
Is just
I'm trying to kill it. That's like my. That's either my least or my second least.
Yeah, I know you don't vibe with 5.
Yeah, I don't vibe with 5. We got beef.
Like 5 was so good, and actually, I'm getting reminded of how good 5 was because of we're in Tempest Trial right now, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. But 6 had so much Alphonse characterization, and it's like the most.
Damn, we really like changed your mind on 6. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I was really honestly, I was ready to put 6 under like 7, but then now it's like so much characterization, so much depth. The characters we
did it, Rocket Gal.
Yeah, we did it. Woo!
Yeah. So. I know it's gonna be awkward for like a lot of people to see 6 over 5, but yeah, I'm pretty happy if you guys are happy.
All right. Sounds good. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is our tier list. Of course, it is just our opinions. So let us know if you think differently, whether you think a book is better than what we've said or vice versa. Please just let us know, because again, all different forms of opinions are important. All of them are valid. And we would love to hear more opinions, because that's what it is all about here.
Yeah, comment below your favorite book and why. And why is it book 4? I mean, sorry, comment your favorite book. Yeah. Let's go with that one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that about covers this. I would like to once again thank Enemy and Satachi for joining me on this quite lengthy quest of ranking the Fire Emblem Heroes story. It was actually a lot more work than we anticipated, but I had a lot of fun.
I just looked at the time. What the heck? It felt like only 20 minutes passed.
What?
That's what happens when you have fun, chat.
Exactly.
So much fun.
That's what happens when you have fun.
And in fact, we're going to have even more fun later, because no spoilers, but I know Rocket Gal has amazing stuff cooking up in the oven. So you want to subscribe, notifs on, and make sure you don't miss her next upload.
True.
Thank you. I feel like you're playing the YouTube game for me. Thank you so much. Yeah, for sure. And also don't forget to subscribe to Enemy and Satachi as well. These guys are fantastic creators. That's the reason why I have them here. I only have the best of the best on my channel. On the Rocket Gal channel, only the best. So yeah, please check them out. They're awesome. Enemy is tier list god, and Satachi is the ultimate troll and also ultimate Edelgard and Violet simp. So you gotta go check them out. They are awesome. So yeah, that about covers it. Any last words before we sign out?
It's been so much fun, Satachi, Rocket Gal. Thank you guys for being yourselves, and I think this is, probably what makes Faye so much fun. Is just chatting with cool people like you guys, and giving our opinions.
Yes, pretty much the same thing what he said. Thanks for having me. I like Edelgard, and we kind of almost made like an L on the tier list, and I think that's really fun.
I didn't notice that until you said that.
Oh my god, yeah. All right, that about covers this tier list of the Fire Emblem Heroes story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.